Friends, the next personality I am inviting right here for the master class is someone, I'm getting goosebumps to invite him here. And I would like to really, just share his profile, which is just 1/10. Okay, so he's a Bandra boy at heart, blues man on the radio, founder and group CEO at Fountainhead Marketing, founder Radioactive Ventures, a much-in-demand voiceover exponent, has hosted over 1,500 high-profile shows at the pedigree of Miss Femina India, awards nights, a theatre personality, a jury member of prestigious Channel V Awards and MTV Music Video Awards, a TEDx speaker, a founder member of EMA and being the president for 2 terms, a consultant for India's leading music retail chain, Planet M, and so on and so on. The accomplishments and achievements is unending. May I know, can I hear from all of you whom I'm talking about? Absolutely right, and it gives me immense pleasure, my pride, privilege, and pleasure to invite such a dynamic and beloved personality right here with us, Mr. Brian Tellis, to share 10 live sessions, 10 life lessons in 10 minutes. His rich experience. Thank you so much, Brian, for honoring the stage.
Thank you for embarrassing me with that introduction, Shefali. Listen, I don't know if I'm going to live up to all the tall claims that Shefali made, but thank you. Okay, I'm going to, may I sit down? I'm senior citizen, 93 years old or thereabouts. So I thought I'd sit and share with you stuff. And given my age, I've also brought some notes that I can refer to. This is also, if I can help it, I'd like for this to be a bit of a chat, okay? Is there a microphone here? We don't need a microphone, actually. Oh, you have another one. So we're pretty close to each other. Listen, what I thought we'd do is, and I enjoy doing this, no gyan, okay? No gyan. I've done, as she said, a fair amount of time in the business. And so there are learnings, both on the personal front, as also on the entrepreneurial front, on the company front, on the, if I can call it an industry. I keep getting challenged every time I say experiential is an industry by the powers that be. And say, it's not an industry yet, you know. I got to say to you that we're pretty close to establishing it. We just had a meeting in Delhi, the 22 agents, associations, and EMA met. And I'm indulging myself. When my time is up, throw something at me, okay, Shefali? We met and we were discussing stuff. And do you know, we are in this country 3,000 agencies. 3,000 agencies in this country. And of course, over a crore of people that work in this industry. And now here's the big one. Of course, there's no numbers to prove it. And companies like Ernst & Young and maybe KPMG might not agree with us, but we were deep in discussion and doing a gauge. I don't know if Sid will have something to say on this one, but Sid, I was told we have a guesstimated turnover, if you include all of the facets of experiences, that we're close to a 5 lakh crore industry. I mean, that is wow, you're right, you know. The thing is, we take ourselves for granted. We don't understand truly the power of this whole industry, if I can call it that we belong to. And I'd like for us to be happily involved in this industry, okay? Which is why I'm going to start off today by talking about who we are. And when I say who we are, I'm not just talking about the agencies and the larger business. I'm talking about you, Lavina, and you, Shefali, and you, and you, and you. Each one of us needs to be a brand unto ourselves. And we belong to an organization, and we need to build a brand around the organization as well. It's only when we understand the gravity. I was just standing at the back just now and chatting about how we need to recognize who we are. And of course, it puts pressure on us to understand and to live up to the expectations. So I've got some notes. You know, I mean, one is a personal brand. Who is Brian Tellis? What does he stand for? You know, what does he propagate? Move to the company. I was just talking to Sid, you know, and do we have purpose? And Sid will We'll talk about it a lot more a little later, so I won't dwell too much on it. But do we have a purpose? Do we have a mission? So the purpose is right on the top. Who do we wish to be, both individually and collectively as a company and as an industry? What's the purpose? Now, every purpose, once you've charted the purpose, you need a mission. And the mission is actually the path that you create for yourself. The exciting thing, again, about who we are is the path can be redefined as we go along. I know I felt this in my erstwhile company as well. We kept redefining our path. So right on top is purpose. You really need that. Then you need a mission, which is the path towards your purpose. And then very importantly, you need pillars that become, your values of the company. Each of us, many of the values might be common. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying each company has to have different values. But if you get my overall drift, there has to be the overarching planning, both on an individual level and on a company level. And we need to come together. It really put a smile on my face and heart in Delhi last Monday, Tuesday, when 21 associations from all over the country and EMA signed a treaty to say that while we do our work, in our respective regions or nationally, we will also, state our case. We will come together in areas of skill development, education, representation to the powers that be, and things like that. So, let's figure out, what makes you unique, what makes us unique, what makes Brian unique, what makes you happy. And I have a special place for the word happy or happiness, and I'll talk a bit about that. What are we passionate about? Again, it's something I spoke about. I sometimes believe that we separate career from passion. And to me, that's a basic malfunction. I do believe we need to be cognizant of who we are, what are we passionate about, and actually embrace that passion. And if you do, I'm going to make a tall statement, but if you do embrace that passion, I think the rest falls in line. Okay? I know tall words, and not everyone might agree with me. If you do, hey, top of the pops. But if you don't agree with me, I'm happy to chat, and discuss this. Okay? I have always, from the time I was pretty young, chased being happy. And it's been a crazy journey. It's taken me all over the place. Everything mom and dad said not to do, I did in large measure. And we won't go into details. But to me, that's what made me happy. That's what floated my boat, man. And I wasn't about to give it up. Lavina, wipe that smile off your face. And no sharing any secrets, okay? I'm wearing a jacket, trying to look as dignified as I possibly can. But seriously, I was never bashful about who I was. I still am not. And I do believe that, you must be at peace with yourself, be happy, do the things that you love. And the rest kind of tends to fall in line. Did in my case. Someone up there kind of, for some strange reason, likes me, I think. Okay. So my brand was always about being happy. I had one big ambition, like I said, which is to chase happiness. Reminds me of, I'm sure most of us know who John Lennon is, of the Beatles. And I'm going to use a cliche, but it's an interesting little thing that he said once that left a lasting impression on me. Apparently, when he was young, his mother would always say to him, John, when you grow up, you need to understand that the most important thing is to be happy. And initially, John didn't understand that, but then he grew to understand it. And when he was in class 5, 7, I'm not too sure, apparently they had a class teacher tell them, I want you to write down on each of you on a piece of paper, what do you want to be when you grow up? And people wrote various things, and John wrote on his piece of paper, I want to be happy. And the teacher looked at him and said, John, I don't think you've understood the question. And at that young age, John said, ma'am, I don't think you've understood life. And yeah, man, seriously, that's a crazy line, right? This was when he was young, but even after the Beatles, he apparently said, and again, it's a line that, call me a John Lennon fan, another line that he said after the Beatles, he said, happiness and life is what happens to you while you're making your grandiose plans. And that's another thing, right? We're so consumed about who we want to be and how many millions of dollars do we want to accumulate. And my company needs to be the biggest in the world and nothing wrong with that. But we actually fail to enjoy the fact that we're sitting in this place, which I think kicks ass, man, this venue. I've been enjoying it. I hope you are as well. Yeah, it's great fun, right? So, I mean, these are the simple things, and full marks to you guys for having the conference in this place. I don't think I have done anything so cool. You're sitting, yeah, man, sitting out here in the open. The only thing missing is alcohol, but I'm a teetotaler now, so you guys can have my drink. But yeah, yes, I am. Lavina's looking really surprised. What happened to the alcoholic Brian Tellis? I know. Oh, man, something's changed. Okay, but so these are the two John Lennon quotes that I never fail to talk about because they've played a large part and continue to play a large part in the way I live life. I think, again, cliche, but if you do what you love, you end up loving what you do, and then there's never that day at work. And, Sunday nights are as good as Monday mornings or any other day of the week. And it's pretty much the case in my life. Eat your hearts out. I'm a happy freaking camper, and I enjoy it. I really do. How does one enjoy, or how does one define happiness? Well, I'm just going to take the simple, logical kind of line. You can attain happiness if you do things that bring you joy, right? Just do things that put a smile on your face. Do things that make you happy. If it means giving, if it means getting, if it means sharing, if it means just sitting, hanging loose and smiling at everyone that looks at you, hey, do it, man. Do it. And you will reap the rewards, right? I promise you that. I'm a living example of that. So do things. It helped me follow my passion. The one thing I did right, I believe, is, I've grown up, and we'll talk about it. I'm going to, like Shefali said, I'm going to talk about, 10 lessons, and I'll try and do it in 10 minutes as the topic says, 10 lessons in 10 minutes. And like I said, if I exceed time, throw something at me, preferably a good-looking woman. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So the first lesson is go on a discovery, okay? I was fortunate. Like I said, I don't know how else to say it, but I was in the fast lane growing up. Okay, so I did a whole lot of fun things, and luckily it didn't consume me, but I went on a discovery. At a very young age, I figured that I loved the performing arts. Love it. So I ended up, we have a small little system in Bandra. And I've been accused forever, including earlier this evening, of being that proverbial Bandra boy. You can take him out of Bandra, but can't take Bandra out of him, and I stand happily accused. And we used to have a little zonal system where you went up on stage and you sang and you acted and, and all kinds of things you helped organize. And that actually gave me this sense of fulfillment. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. So I want each of you to go, and it doesn't matter how old or young you are. There's this misconception in your head, or in my head it was, that you need to be young to actually follow your passions, and then as you go along, you develop them and all. Yeah, of course. The younger you are, when you discover your passions and you follow them, the better it is, but it's never too late. Okay, so figure out what your passions are. Figure out who you are. Spend that time with yourself. In today's day and age, we are so freaking busy, supposedly, doing all the stuff that we are meant to do, or so we believe, that we don't really spend time with ourselves. We don't do, to use today's terminology, you must do a SWOT analysis, your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats. Try to sound as formal as I can, but honestly, to simplify that whole SWOT thingy, just spend time with yourselves. Just figure out at this stage of your life, who are you? I know I am a 93-year-old semi-retiree whom Kyla claims takes on a lot more than I should be taking on. She's my conscience and then some. But hey, that's what gives me joy, right? So go on a passion. Like I said, I think early in life, I made some decisions that still hold me in good stead. I started anchoring shows, and that really, really helped me. We started a company in early '93 called Fountainhead. And yeah, woo is right. Lavina, actually, if I might tell them that, spent, 2.5 to 3 years with us. That's how far back we go. If you believe she's young, don't, okay? 35, 40 years. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we chased what we felt we could do best. I can remember back in the day when we started Fountain and we'd go visiting clients, and say we are event managers. Now, of course, we're stylish. We say experiential marketers, all of those fancy adjectives and phrases. But we were event managers, and I remember being asked, not just once, maybe a couple of occasions, say, boss, I appreciate, but hey, event management kya hai? We have apna admin department hai, apna whatever events we need to do, our admin department does. And to be honest with you, I had no answers, at that time. Just other than saying we can do it better than your admin department, and that also you have to say politely. And there was a time when we had to go through an advertising agency for any credibility. Things have changed. So one is go on a passion, and it's helped me tremendously. Define the terms you want to live on and live it. But define the terms you want to live on and then live it. If you believe you're going to be a good agency, and don't try and be everything to everyone. Yeah? And if you believe you can be a good agency, hey, decide whether it's weddings that you're good at, but don't try and be everything to everyone. And two is when you decide to do what you decide to do, then as Nike says, just do it. Yeah, just do it. I mean, there's no time to ponder. Just do it and believe in yourself, right? There are ups, there are downs. Treat them as learnings, and I'll talk about that as well. So, I'm going to get distracted, so I won't go into another thing that I believe, and that's my point number 4, lesson number 4, is chase positivity. And this is something where, I want to spend a little time on this. I'm going to give away some personal secrets, right? I said I was in the fast lane even when I was back in school. And I'm from the old course where we did the 11 plus 4. I was the last batch of the 11th standard. And we had the opportunity of taking 8 subjects or 7 subjects. Obviously, you took 7. You had to pass in all. And if you took 8, you could fail in 1. Certain subjects, not any one subject. Yours truly failed in 3. And I took 7, not 8. Because I thought I was clever. So I actually failed the SSC. But now why am I telling you this story? Okay, so let me first salvage some of my credibility and say 6 months later I sat for the same exam and I got a first class. Talia. I did. I'm not lying. Okay, but the point I'm making is, A, don't be afraid to say that you failed. Whether you're blaming weed or the girlfriend in your life or drinks or whatever else it is, don't be afraid to say it. I failed, man. And not in 1 subject, 3. Yeah, if you do something, do it properly. Don't fail in 1. Fail 3, 4, convincing. But then, I'll tell you, on a serious note, that woke me up, right? And I could have let 2 things happen to me that day. I could have let that failure destroy me or destroy my self-confidence and stuff like that. No. And I'm saying this with a lot of pride. I decided that would be one of my turning points. I didn't believe I was any less clever. Let me say that also very clearly and convincingly. I decided to rise and never make those mistakes again. So I didn't sit for any more exams. No, I'm kidding. But I did my commerce after that, and I did my business management, and I'm happy to say did not fail. But the point is, chase positivity. The glass is, as they say, the glass is always half full. It's not half empty. Of course, it's half full until it's bottoms up time. Then it might get empty. But refill it. Stop laughing. That was a bad joke. But yeah, so, always look at the positive side of life. It can only help you. Yeah? We all make mistakes, but use those mistakes to actually learn and try not to ever make those mistakes again. So chase positivity. I can't talk about this, enough. I can't emphasize this enough. Another thing, be a student for life. There's another fallacy that we live with, which says academics is up to a certain point. I did my graduation, and then I did my business management, and then I did my PhD. Now I'm done with learning. And I learned pretty early that academics, there are 2 types. One is the one you wear on your visiting card, which has all the A, B, C, D, E, F, G that we've done. But learnings never stop. Okay, never stop. So be a student of life and be a student for life. So what do I mean when I say be a student for life? You learn every day. And ironically, I believe, and well, you can agree or disagree, but I think some of my finest learnings have come from the most unexpected places. And I'm going to say where. From the lady who, the house help, for lack of another way to call her, the lady who comes home and cleans up your home or cooks your meals for you or whatever else. You know, or the rickshaw driver or the security guard. I never fail to tell the story about just greeting the guy who frisks you and checks you at the airport. You know, very often we tend to condescend and get angry with these guys. Dude, he's doing his duty, man. And he's doing his duty for your good, right? And it's just a wonderful thing. I do this all the time when I'm being kind of frisked. I greet them. I just, wish them the time of day. Or just a quick say, oh, how's it going? Today the airport's a little empty. I often get told, okay, in their language that it's so wonderful that people like you actually appreciate. And I've not even said good, well done and all that. No drama. Just chatting with them, just the one line or two lines. And a couple of them stop to actually tell you about their life, the struggles they face. And these are real stories. I always appreciate the fact that they are uncurated. They're not curated. And to me, that's brilliant. You rarely get these conversations that are real, quote unquote. So be a student of life and be a student for life. I think you get my drift, of both off and for life, because the learnings never stop. I mean, even today, as I sit here and earlier I was chatting with people, I'm learning stuff around me, and I hope that never stops. My favorite one, stay hungry. How do you define staying hungry? I often get told, and I spoke about this very briefly earlier, that, man, you're now 93 years old, take your foot off the pedal, man. Just chill a bit. I can't do that. Maybe not I can't do that, I don't want to do that. Yes, you have to be cognizant of exactly your age or your capabilities, what you can and should do, what you cannot and shouldn't do. Be aware of that. I'm not saying, try and be everything to everyone. In fact, I don't believe you can do that even if you want to. But constantly stay hungry. Selfishly as well. I mean, hey, unless you're hungry, how will you ever recognize opportunities? I'm hungry, man. You can blame it on my greed to be a better person, to be a more accomplished person, and maybe even to be a richer person. It's not my priority, and I'll talk about that as well. But I'm eternally hungry for all kinds of things, actually. Some that help me, some that don't. But hey, c'est la vie. They call me a compulsive person. And I'm happy with the title, though it sometimes tends to take me down paths that I don't want to be. But the point is, if you're hungry and you're constantly looking for newer stuff, it comes back. I don't know if you've heard of the Mahindra Blues Festival, for instance, right? I mean, that came out of a hunger for music. So a few things that have helped me, and if I sound like I'm self-indulging, please forgive me, but the love and hunger for music and the love and hunger for, like I said, the arts and the performing arts specifically led to some wonderful things that I'm still involved in, like the Mahindra Blues Festival or the Adya Theatre Festival that happens for the Aditya Birla group that I consult for now. More recently, along with Kala, we've started the Indian School of Protocol, which is a training program that we run for companies and people, or the podcast collective that I'm involved in. I can go on and on. Radio, I mean, I've been on radio forever and a day. Actually, from the day FM started in India, August 93. 30 years. Shit. Almost 30 years. And I'm now doing the night shift in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and Chennai. And people are going, what kind of a sucker for punishment are you? And I'm going, happy sucker for punishment. Yeah, unfortunately, there are only 24 hours in the day. But, honestly, unless you've given yourself a shot, you're never going to know what you're capable of doing and how well you're capable of doing it. So I think staying hungry is a key ingredient. Never let, this is big debate. I'm going to say it louder than I said the rest of it. Never make money your scoreboard. Let me just assure you that I love money, okay? I love money. I truly do. I'm not making a dramatic statement. But I'd like to believe it's not my scoreboard. How successful are you? Hey, 10 million last year or 100 million. No, no, no. I asked you how successful you were last year, not how rich you are or poor, whatever the adjective is. And I'm not dissing money. I'm repeating myself. Money is important. Money is required. Money is good. I'm saying do not make it your scoreboard, right? I spoke about purpose. I spoke about objectivity. I spoke about the journey or the mission. I spoke about value systems. Those are things that define purpose, define success, define, I'd like to believe everything that you wish to be, your brand. And here's the deal, at least as far as I'm concerned. If you're happy doing what you do, you give it 100%. And if you give it 100%, the universe conspires, man. Honestly does. The universe conspires and you end up being who you wish to be and a lot more, including being money, having money in good doses. What is good enough? Yeah? Is a one-bedroom home good enough? Is a two-bedroom home good enough? Is a villa good enough? Are two villas good enough? Is one car, two cars, which car? I mean, you know what? It keeps changing. So, what really works, enjoy the process, and I'll come to that. Never let money. Know the difference between being passive and actually going with the flow. I often make that mistake. It's okay, man. I'm chilled out. I'm going with the flow. That's fine. You can go with the flow, but always be aware of which part of your journey you are at. What is it that you need to be doing at the moment? You don't have to get all stressed out about it. So, you can be chilled out. You can be, I don't know how to say this, relaxed about who you are and where you wish to be. But don't ever lose that focus. So very often we tend to kind of relax in all the wrong ways. And we end up actually losing purpose, losing concentration, losing focus on where we want to go and who we wish to be. So know the difference between being passive and going with the flow. Okay, you can be passive but still follow all your objectivity. And my final point, nothing's thrown at me yet, so I suppose I'm not doing too badly on the timelines, but enjoy the journey. Honestly, enjoy the journey. I do believe, like John Lennon said, right? The destination might change, and very often it does. I did mention to you which car, how many cars, which home, how many homes. All of these things keep changing. Which wife, how many wives. I never said that. I'm happily married for, 35 years, thereabouts. And I said happily married, so. Yeah, but what's good enough, right? What's good enough for us? It keeps changing. So the destination might keep changing. But if you enjoy the journey, I've seen very many people, I'm a animal lover, bird lover. Don't misunderstand the word bird or birds. But I've done many trips into forests, right? Kanha and all the rest of it, And it's amazing that, you're there. You've got nature pretty much like this, but dense. And it's brilliant because you see, you hear, and if you're really focused, it's just uplifting. But you get a whole lot of people who are with me as well, and they're going, selfie and this, and you come out of the park in the evening and you say, did you see this? No. Because they were busy capturing it for whether it's Insta or whatever else. Listen, I think social media, and I completely resonated with the previous presentation. The world is changing, and the only constant is change, to use a cliche. And I do understand that we need to be aware and we need to change as the world evolves. But don't lose the basics of actually living in the moment, of enjoying the journey, the drive to come to this beautiful venue, the process of actually sharing my learnings with you all. This is the journey, man. And then, you know what? If I make a couple more friends, and if I can, and this is my sales pitch for the evening, if I can get a couple more kind of contracts for training and... No, I'm kidding. Actually, I'm not. I'll be back there, and if you want me to sign contracts with you, I'm happy to. Kaila is standing by as well. No, but on a serious note, enjoy the journey, because you never know what shit's going to hit you tomorrow morning, yeah? Or maybe even tonight. It could be happy shit, okay? Let me not sound like the naysayer. But honestly, it's been a privilege. And I truly have enjoyed the journey, both physically to come to this place and, of course, chatting with you guys thus far. If there are any quick questions like how many wives I have and how much money I'd like to have that I don't, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah? Any questions? And I'm good with no questions for you. Please get out of this place. I'm good. Anyone want to know anything about me? No? Man, this is disappointing. Okay, I don't care too much for blondes, but no? Kyla is saying enough. Enough, you're done. Okay, guys, just want to say thank you for giving me a patient listen. Like I said, it's been incredibly fulfilling. Supposed to stand up and take a bow, and so I'll do that, in a dignified. This is as dignified as I get, guys.